A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris from CCA, and this afternoon we have Colby from Bullbuster. How are you, Colby?
Good. How you doing?
Good. So first, I got to ask you, what have you been up to during this quarantine? How are sales? How's everything with Bullbuster?
Okay. The quarantine, we're very fortunate that we're an online-only fishing line company. So, if you were an essential worker still out there, maybe you're going fishing, we could still send it to you. And if anyone was home, we were able to send out fishing line. So that was great, to be able to do that. So, yeah.
Awesome.
People appreciate fishing more now.
Don't we all? Yeah. And, you kind of hit the nail right on the head there. It's like, with it being with you being exclusively online, I think it's exclusively, it kind of gives you an advantage and kind of gives you, puts you in a position to go directly to the consumer rather than going through someone else, right?
Yeah, we do more bulk lines. Like our smallest spool is a half-pound spool. But yeah, we go direct online, and that's what we've been doing for about 10 years. And now I think people see it's even more important with the pandemic stuff.
Excellent. Let's take a pause here. Let's see who's chiming in here. Hello, Jim, Christopher. How's it going? You have a fantastic name, by the way. David, Ray, how are you guys? And as always, guys, if you have any questions for Colby, please leave them in the comments below. We'd love to answer them for you. But Colby, let's kind of switch gears here and kind of take us back to how Bullbuster got started. I know, it's a family business. Just tell us your story, man.
Yeah, so around 2010, I was in high school with a bunch of buddies, and we were starting into land-based shark fishing, which is where you take a kayak, you're on the beach. It's starting to really actually catch on in Southern California as well. There's a guy we sponsor named Terraform Tackle Spencer, and he's been going out there a lot and catching some sharks in California. But basically what you do is you take like a tuna head from, let's say, like from a long range boat. We would work with a charter boat, and you kayak it off the beach and drop it off. We use like a rock, and you catch really big sharks off the beach. The thing is, you can't chase the fish, so you need a lot of line on there. And we were fishing a 30-day tournament, and we got cut off by a blacktip shark, and it was going to cost like $300 to spool our 14-0 reel, which is like the reel from Jaws. And a buddy of mine told me, hey, there's a commercial fishing warehouse down the street that there's like off-label line, and it's a lot cheaper. And so I went over there. And the idea for Bullbuster came and started because it was like, wow, all these lines are out there in stores and they're so much more expensive with the markup. I can give it directly to the customer and really provide a lot of value. So I was a member of like 3 websites at the time, South Florida Shark Club, and there was a Boatless Fishing. And I would literally go deliver the fishing line on the highway in Miami from Miami to West Palm Beach. And I tried to line up about 5 orders at the time, and then borrow some money, buy the inventory, and deliver it along the way. And then we started taking on more of the process ourselves. So we, bought the machinery to start spooling, the label machines, and we expanded to braid and fluorocarbon as well to kind of fit with the bulk fishing line direct to consumer model.
Nice. And like you said, you're originally from Florida. You're actually coming to us live from Florida right now.
I actually came back to visit some family. So
that's awesome, man. Really, just a couple of years ago, I remember meeting you for the first time, and you had said you had just moved to California. How's that transition going from East Coast to West Coast?
It was a whole new world, and it was exciting. California really has fishing that you can't get anywhere else. I mean, the whole fleet, the infrastructure that you guys have out like in California it's amazing. So yeah, first I was really, going out and meeting everyone and really moving the company and all that, and finally got out on a few overnights, and
Mm.
And so yeah, California's fishing is really cool with the tuna and all that. It's a whole other world. So,
It's nice. I mean, I have to ask you, being a native of Florida, now new resident of California, how, obviously you can kind of compare and contrast between the East Coast and the West Coast, our styles of fishing using the different monofilament and fluorocarbon and vice versa.
yeah.
No, it's kind of a loaded question, but how does one compare between the two? I know, out here we typically use a lot of more fluoro or mono
Yeah,
and braid versus East Coast. Can you break that down for us?
I think you guys fish a lot lighter tackle. Like I went on my first overnight tuna trip, and over here when we're fishing for yellowfin tuna, we're pulling out like 50-pound fluoro, and I had guys tell me, "No, you still have 20, 15," and so that really got my mind going on the product lines. We want to bring down a little bit lighter line to match California fishing. So it's yeah, it's a whole new world out there. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good point too, because you're right. We're fishing, as little as 15-pound, 20-pound test on the school size yellowfin, especially right now this time of year. But if you go elsewhere, for instance, Hawaii, they're still fishing huge reels on, really big monofilament, 100-pound, 80-pound for, mahi that are, basically barely bigger than the yellowfin, if not smaller. So like I said, you probably have seen a whole bunch and a whole different ranges.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in Hawaii they're going for that grandeur. So, and as a fishing line guy, I like that because we sell a lot to Hawaii. But yeah, it's in California, it's a whole new sporting game. So it's and every boat seems to be different. I've gone and explored with you, Chris, on the CCA trip. I've been up on the Fury and Dana Point and Liberty and one trip on the Pacific Queen, and I noticed that every boat has its own style, and every crew, like every set of anglers as well. So it's an interesting world. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of boats, I know you're pretty exclusive with certain operations, both in California, Hawaii, and also Florida too. How does one, if you own a sport boat or getting into the business at all, how does one get in with Bullbuster?
Yeah, so we have, if you look on our website, we have let's see if I can share a screen. We actually have a magazine on our website, and I'm gonna try to share my screen here so you can kind of see what it looks like. It might take a second to load it up. But basically, since we're direct to consumer, we're a little bit different. We we have actually writers on our website, and we'll help you promote your charter business as well, and give you like SEO traffic to your business through articles. So I'll try to share. Can you see my screen, Chris?
I can't.
Let's see. Share screen. Oh no, it's not allowed. Okay. Well, so we have yeah. You go to our website. You basically apply to be a writer, and you post fishing reports about what's going on in your area, and we'll actually exchange that for fishing line. It depends on how much you're writing and stuff like that. But that's how I would do it. I'd go to bullbuster.net and apply to become a writer, and our top writers that we find align with our values become our ambassadors. So that's the way it works on there. Oh,
There you go.
yeah. If you click on Bullbuster.net magazine.
Come on.
Disappear or put. No, I just have.
There it is.
Yeah. So this is Spencer, the first guy in the Blue Desert kayak. He's up in Orange County, I think in Newport, and he has a lot of cool. He's really innovating shark fishing in Southern California. He's gone out and really learned and explored the areas, and this is him kayak fishing out there. He has a line in this article that says escaping the summer tourist run. Getting out fishing and catching some makos from the kayak. So
That's awesome. So just to kind of recap there, people can actually write for Bullbuster and write kind of their reviews, their experiences, or even how-tos on your website. Not only get additional SEO to them, but also they can earn rewards from you too, right?
exactly, yeah. If you think we have like a loyalty point system. So every article that you write, you gain 20 points, and we exchange that for $20 worth of fishing line. So it actually really, if you're a charter operation and you're going through a lot of line, it doesn't take. I think our minimum article is 250 words, and it needs at least one picture or video. So it's really worth your time to get on there and write an article, and yeah, you get product towards fishing line and you improve your business, and we send that out to our mailing list. If you're a charter captain, we're originally from Florida, and so you would have people all over the East Coast seeing your charter operation. So yeah, if you're a charter captain watching this, we have a big mailing list to drive your business to you.
Excellent. Excellent. Awesome. And that's open to any angler out there, right? You don't have to necessarily be a captain or a boat owner or anything.
Yeah, so you can just apply. Chris, could you show? I think on our homepage is the link where to apply there.
Sure. 1 second here.
Yeah, you can be. Yeah, you can be. Just getting started in fishing and sharing kind of what. Yeah, click on the logo there. Just home.
A little slow here.
Yeah, you can be just getting started fishing and explaining how it's down a little bit further, but explaining that what you're learning. And I've learned that the best way to learn is to teach, is because you kind of have to think about what you're doing and think it through a little bit more. Ooh, it's not if you click on, scroll down just a little bit. Click on the ratio on the screen, but you were at that part. Scroll down just a little bit. Actually, yeah, I think there's a banner here. Yeah, right under the map. Scroll up. Oh, scroll down a little bit. Right here. Yeah, apply to be a writer on Bullbuster.net. So this kind of shows you what you get. You get a profile, kind of like a Facebook. You get points towards product, and yeah, some months we have. Last year I think we had over 1 million readers on the magazine. So you really will get some exposure on there as well.
I mean, honestly, 1 million readers is not something to sneeze about. That's pretty big.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Let's check back into the comments here. We've got David Chavez. Hello, David. Wayne says big fish on light tackle, Cali style. Agreed, for sure. San Diego Anglers, welcome, guys. Colby, thank you for supporting SD Anglers and CCA Cal San Diego chapter. Definitely grateful for that. And Wayne actually dropped a link to Bullbuster as well, so make sure you check that out. David says, it was a huge decision to bring your operations to the left coast. What was the driving factor that made you jump? What's been your biggest hurdle in the West versus East?
Okay, the major factor, fishing-wise, would be that as growing up, I watched I think it was it was like Chris Fisher, and he had a show in Southern California, traveling the islands and doing all that. And then I would see all the pictures, almost like the tomahawk the other day. I was just talking with Chris that you guys had all the yellow fins, and now it's bluefin, but just lined up. And I figured, as a young kid, I was like, well, if I got rid of the flight, then I'd be right there and in front of those boats and have opportunity at long range fishing. So that's the major fishing motivation to get out there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, speaking of San Diego and the tomahawk and all that, any boats using Bullbuster exclusively on your end? Not yet.
I don't think anyone exclusively. I know that a lot of the boats have been using our fluorocarbon. I know that think about a year ago, the Fury got a 500-yard spool of, it was either 20 or 50 pound. I know they're completely done with it. They're in Orange County. Yeah, so I think the fluorocarbon has really been what people have been moving on, and definitely a lot of San Diego anglers have been very grateful to be part of that organization as well, and I know that they've moved through some mono out on their trips. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. Guys, as a reminder, if you have a question for Colby or Bullbuster, make sure to leave it in the comments below. We'd love to answer that. Colby, let's kind of switch gears here. I know, when you think of your typical line manufacturer and your line company, you're usually dealing with, maybe little spools here and there, especially when it comes to the fluoro and even the mono. It's a little, I guess short compared to Bullbuster. What's the vision? How did you kind of come about with that bulk spool, I guess, business decision on?
Yeah, it started out with this freaking monster spool, which I don't think anyone's gonna use on a flower trip, but these are 22-pound spools. This is for the shark fishing guys. But yeah, really, I figured if it's gonna be online, our goal is to get you as close to free shipping as possible. So if you're gonna go to a store and get like the filler 300-yard spool, that makes sense to go to the store because it's like something you need. You weren't thinking about it, but really, our smallest spools are above a 20-pound and up are our 1-pound spools, and we can really give you really good value on that bigger spool. We can get you a lot. We do free shipping at $100. So this will spool, like if you're just doing top shots, you can do 20 top shots like on a small outlet or accurate. And yeah, this right now we have this for $45.99. So if you think about it, you buy like one bulk spool versus a bunch of filler spools over time, you're gonna save your time and money. Just spool it at home and at your house. So
Fair enough. That's awesome, man.
and,
Yeah, ask you, can you hold that spool up again? That 22-pound one. You just need to do that every
this is our shark fishing spool. This will fill a few 130s up pretty quick. So.
Oh my goodness. What so on the other extreme, what's the smallest spool that you sell?
So for braid, it's going to be 500 yards. So it's something like this. And for fluorocarbon, we do sell a 50-yard spool, but we do focus on these 500-yard spools where you can make a leader before you go and just put it in a Ziploc bag. But to have every contest, we do carry these as the smaller ones of 50 yards.
And 500 yards of braid, for example, that's actually that's actually really good in terms of value and also the length too, because nowadays with manufacturers coming out with smaller and smaller reels, and especially in the West Coast, I could think of a handful of guys who do exclusively mono, but nowadays it's mainly braid with a top shot of mono and a top shot of fluoro, or even just straight braid to fluoro. And a 500-yard spool, you're pretty close, if not all the way, to spooling up a decent size, maybe a 3, 4, 500 size reel.
Yeah.
Entirely. Yeah. But that's awesome. That's awesome. Let's check back into the comments here. Bulk is so much better, less waste. Yeah, I agree, Wayne. That's for sure. But awesome. So, with kind of going back to the differences between West Coast and East Coast and all that, I heard you started off with, actually being as a shark fisherman, and in your I guess opinion, what would be your favorite kind of fishing on the West Coast and the East Coast, like other than shark fishing?
Okay. I like big fish. You put in more time and effort, and sometimes you don't catch anything. but that's how it is. So swordfish is my over here is my addiction. I didn't have a girlfriend most of college because I was spending so much on gas money to go out and go swording. It ain't cheap. And on the West Coast, really, my goal is to get a cow tuna, and I haven't done it yet, but I will, and that's my goal out on the West Coast. So.
That's awesome. Well, speaking as, a native Californian here, obviously the deep drop has gotten super popular the last couple of years and all that for the swordfish. How are you typically rigging up over there for the sorties?
So usually, okay, so there's two types of swordfish, and I really think that this would work in Southern California as well. So we have nighttime swordfish and daytime swordfish. So the daytime swordfish, which has become more popular because I guess, it's on night and all that, you're using like an 80 wide with either 65-pound braid or 80-pound braid. And what's nice about the 65-pound braid is you need less, it gets down a lot easier. There's less resistance. And you think like, okay, you're catching like a 300, 400, 500-pound swordfish, 65-pound might be light. But the thing about swordfish is they have really soft mouths. So you don't want to put more than like 20 pounds of pressure on that swordfish, no matter how big it is. So 65-pound braid is probably the best way to go for daytime swordfishing. And then at night, it's more like it's more like a 50 wide, or in Southern California, you guys use such small reels. It's no one would believe me over here. I'm just saying. But yeah, but I'm serious. If I told people we're catching yellowfin on 20-pound, they'd just be like, "You're crazy." But whatever.
To each their own, man.
To each their own, yeah. Yeah, nighttime. I like nighttime swordfishing better because it's more of a fight. So you're going to be fishing versus the daytime. You might fish 1 or 2 reels. At night, we use milk jugs, and you put a glow stick in the milk jug, and you put one like bait at 100 feet, one at 200, one at 300, and like 2 tip rods. And what's nice about that is at night you're fighting directly to the fish, and during the day, a lot of times you're just fighting like your huge weight that you're using to drop all the way down. So you're gonna fish like a smaller reel, and maybe like 65-pound backing and like 50-pound mono, and it's really like more direct to the fish. So
nice. How deep are you usually going?
At night, it's usually a little bit shallower. So I don't know, it seems to like move in a little bit. So maybe like 1,100 to 1,300 feet at night. And then during the day, up like a little deeper, maybe like 1,600 to 2,100 feet. And you're actually dropping it down like all the way to the bottom. So it's a feat to do the daytime stuff.
Nice. Any plans on doing that on the West Coast over here?
Yeah, I'd like to. I've been trying to get talk to some people to get some nighttime sword fishing, because that's what I do enjoy, and it's yeah, and it's really been taken off. I think in the Balboa Anglers Club has been bringing in a good amount of swords, and I've seen some at the Marlin Club down there. So yeah,
absolutely. Wayne has a question. Do you recommend any braid maintenance when it's on the reel?
Braid maintenance?
Mm-hmm.
Not so much. I think it's more about getting it spooled the right way the first time. So if you're spooling from home, something that I always recommend is to start out with mono on the bottom, just to have like a base. And then, especially if you're spooling like a bigger reel, you want to do some like hatches on the bottom so that it's the base, and then spool it on tight. So if you don't have a machine at home, I'd use a bucket and put water in there. And it's really good to have 2 people. So one person's holding the line, it's wet with gloves on, and the other person's spooling. And I think more than maintenance, like preventative, like put it on right the first time, and you're good to go.
Nice. When people are kind of putting you on, or I guess putting braid on together, you want it as tight as possible, right? Or you want a little give there?
I would say as tight as possible the first time, just to have that base set up, so you're you're good. And then when you're in like natural conditions, if you're fishing really heavy drag, it's not cutting into itself. And then the natural conditions, you have the weight of like the scope and all that, so you don't have to worry about that once you start fishing. But put it on right the first time is important.
Excellent. Excellent. William Centrone says hi, says, what's up, Colby, my man?
Hey, Billy.
East Coast.
Hey, East Coast kayak fisherman and shark fisherman.
That's awesome. That's awesome. TB Metal Art, how's it going, Todd? Kimberly Borst, how are you? Awesome. We got more and more people checking in here. Well, let's kind of go back into, into the line. So you offer the fluoro, the mono, and the braid kind of, one-stop shop for all three. Any other things on the horizon for Bullbuster? Are you thinking about dabbing into, another product or sticking with mono and fluoro?
Mono, fluoro, and we do have polypore braid. That's something, and leader material that's bigger, like brand new leader, we call it. It's from like 150 pound to 1,000 pound. But yeah, we've in the past we've moved into other product lines, but then we figured out, we're better at fishing line, and we want to provide the best experience online for fishing line and the best direct to consumer. We call it brand direct experience for fishing line.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, speaking of brand direct, I know it's kind of a family business, right? You've got family members of yours also involved as well.
Yeah, I learned a lot from my dad. He's in a different business, but kind of a similar model, and yeah, he definitely has provided me with a lot of guidance along the way. And when and my whole family, does other things, but there's been times where they've been involved, and I've really appreciated them along the way. So, and I wouldn't be here without them. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, so let's kind of go back to the whole move to California. I know you had been out here for quite a while since we met.
Yeah.
Why the big decision to move out west? Were you just trying to get more and more into the market, or were you just kind of everyone's got to move to California, so do I, so I got to go?
In the fishing world, I don't know that many people that have done that. So it's kind of like an exploratory trip. But I knew you guys had like a big market. We do bring some of our raw materials from overseas, but we've over the years we've brought on more and more of the spooling and all that stuff ourselves. So yeah, I think just a new market and a new type of fishing, and we do have customers out in Hawaii, and it's a lot closer to Hawaii. And like you said, the reels out there are massive, and we sell fishing lines, so we're closer to Hawaii.
And I'm not joking. I mean, they have 130 Tiagras fishing, little baby mahi. It's, to me, it's a kill being from the West Coast, but that, like we said earlier, to each their own.
Yeah, they'll have a 15-foot boat with 4 130s on it. I mean, as a fishing line guy, that's awesome. That's a lot of fishing line.
Yeah, so. No kidding. And when I said you moved out here, you moved pretty much the whole distribution out west, right?
I did. Yeah. So it took about a year to get the stuff out to San Diego, and yeah, it was spent some time in Texas in between, and yeah, moved the whole thing out there, and had to keep the business running while moving. So that was an interesting challenge, and the logistics. So what I've learned over the past few years is been more logistics, like shipping things in different directions, and yeah.
No kidding. William says, what's up again? He says he'd been using his Bullbuster mono and fluoro since about when he started, 10 years for me. Good for him. That's awesome.
He just got a new decked out kayak. He's been traveling doing he's actually on our website as one of our writers and ambassadors. And he has his decked out kayak, and he's been traveling up and down into Louisiana and North Carolina and Northern Florida doing a tournament series, so he's been getting better every year. So happy to have him on our website.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, so kind of let's go back to Hawaii for a minute there. I know, we've all been there and it's a beautiful place and all that. The fishing out there is pretty unique as well when it comes to fishing line. We've already talked a little bit about the gear. What kind of braid, what kind of mono? Because I think they're still really only into mono right now. What kind of stuff are they using out there?
Heavy stuff. I mean, they are using the braid as well. So they're spooling. Really, they're go big or go home, and it's kind of similar to our shark fishing stuff, where you have to stop the fish. So they're fishing like either 130 or 200 pound braid, and we carry 125 mono and 200 pound mono for most of their stuff, and that's for like the big ahi and the grander marlin that's coming through there. And then they're also using heavy fluorocarbon to target the big ahi on live bait. So they'll run and gun to an ahi and throw a live bait at a big tunas, like kind of like the long range boats do down in Mexico, but yeah.
Yeah. So are they using kind of like how we are doing out here with the braid backing and then the mono? Or are they doing one or the other, or how are they usually spooling it on?
Yeah, braid. I think they like hollow core, so more braid, and then directly spliced to mono. And yeah, I think they caught on. You guys are like the innovators of the backing and the small reels, and now they're making their big reels work harder. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So let's kind of talk about distribution. I mean, you often mention your brand direct. You sell directly to the consumer rather than going through a wholesaler or a tackle store or whatever like that. Is there a way that I could even put in orders, either custom orders, or you only need a little bit of one thing or a lot of another thing? How, do you offer any of that service?
Yeah, so if you go on our website, you can see if you click on any of the categories, you see our entire catalog. So if we know it's going to be in stock in the next 6 months, it's on our website, it's live. Then you also have the availability to pre-order. Some items are really hot movers, like our 130 pound fluorocarbon. It's very hard for us to keep that on the shelf. Some of the hollow core, like when we announce like, hey, it's live, it goes. So we have something you'll see on our homepage. It's like a pre-order section, and when you add the item to the cart, if it says available to ship on this date, we try to give you the best production estimate for each line from there. So if it doesn't say available to ship, it's ready to go, and we'll ship it to your doorstep. If it says available to ship, then look at the date and pay attention to that date, because we found like we put that there very specifically because we start production on that product when you put it there. So we don't refund pre-orders. Yeah, within the first 12 hours, if you see that you maybe want to change your thing, or you have a trip or something like that, let us know. But once you have it locked in, we don't refund it, and that's to get it there on time, because we found in the past where people would pre-order and then they would change their mind, and then it messes with our whole production schedule. So we're pretty integrated. Like sometimes we're spooling the line the same day we're shipping it to you. I mean, not all the time, but so we're pretty strict on that.
Nice, nice. And when it comes, is it best, especially with a more popular product, is it best just to kind of pre-order that just to get it out of the way, and then as soon as
Yeah.
it's ready to go, it's pretty much there?
So certain like hollow core, if you're looking for hollow core, heavy fluorocarbon, and some maybe like the 65 pound braid, that's something that I would get on there and reserve. And you'll see the dates move back. Like every 2 to 3 days, I update the available to ship dates based upon reservations. So you'll see, a lot of our lines right now are reserved out to like the end of November, and in like a week or two, you'll see some of that push out to December, and some maybe even further. If it goes past 6 months, then I take it off the site, and sometimes we raise the prices. It depends on what's going on. So.
Nice. And in this kind of COVID situation, COVID world, when it comes to dates and all that stuff, how far back are you usually shipping from availability?
So in COVID, we did have some that were a little bit further back than normal. But the other thing that we do is if we put on there, if you're past your avail date, then we give you a credit to our site, and you get that in your order confirmation. So you'll, I think it's either like a $20, $75 up to $100 credit for because we take it seriously. Like we know you have a fishing trip, and that's why you set up. So yeah. So yeah, we look at the dates and know the dates. If you don't see a date, it should ship to you. You should have it at your house within about a week. That's our, if not faster. So.
I like it. It's kind of like when, at least when it's on order, you're kind of like reserving your line, and when it ships, and then you're pretty much there within a week. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys, a lot of boats will reserve for like the whole year. You know, since we're bulk spools, you kind of know like I'm gonna go on this trip and that. So that's why if you order and you wait, maybe your trips are in December, you order in the fall, we get it to you and you have the bulk and you're good for the year. So
in general, is that the best practice to actually do when you have, say in January, when you have these trips already planned, all these charters on these boats on these days, is it best just to kind of put in your order right at the beginning of the year and not even have to worry about it?
Yeah, so if you know what you do, like if I go on 2 trips a year, then yeah, I'm gonna spool these reels, order everything up front, and we'll get on it and get on there first. Because as you can see, like Billy from the East Coast is maybe ordering the same line, and we're one factory, so yeah.
Excellent. Todd from TB Metal Art has a question. Do you sell pink fluoro?
We do not. No. It's like I think Ford said like we sell. You can buy any color and it's black. Well, for fluoro, it's any color, but it has to be clear.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, kind of go along those lines there. I know I've seen, yellow and green and maybe even blue. I'm not even sure, and white, the different colors of braid and all that stuff. Is there any, any direct reason or any kind of reasoning behind those colors, or just,
preference? Yeah. So the only color that I would say has like a real use, like a legitimate use for that color is yellow. And so like other than clear it's clear, you see through it, and other colors might look nice on your reel, but yellow high-vis lines, if you're working in a team, so if you're here in Florida, it's like kite fishing where you can have like up to 9 live baits in the water at once, and sometimes you hook 9 sailfish at once. You want to be able to see where the lines are going, and I know on the long range boats, you got like sometimes people say like, oh, who's the guy with the yellow line? But yeah, people might not like you, but hey, you're the guy with the yellow line, and you know where your line is moving between that, and it really works for communication to see where things are moving. So other than clear, I would say that yellow is the most important line. It's if you're working on a team and you want to know what's going on, yellow helps you see like the line's right there. I know where it's moving. The line's right here. Yours is right there, and yeah, you might stick out like a sore thumb on the long range trip, but you know where your line is and you can follow it. So yeah.
But that is actually really interesting. Where we've all been there before. We've all gotten tangled, and when you have green or yellow braid, it's pretty easily distinguishable. And it might be embarrassing at some points, but at the same time, you know where your line is, and that's a really good point too. David's asking, how did you come up with your logo and slogan?
So the logo, I first started out with actually our first logo was actually like shark jaws and the 2 rods going across. That was our first logo, and then in 2011, my stepmom's brother is a graphic designer, and he said, you need a simple logo, and he showed me a Pepsi logo and a Coca-Cola logo, and through the years, Pepsi changed every few years, and Coke stayed the same. So he said, I worked with him and we came up with a, a simple logo that got the idea through. It's a shark and then the lines going through the word Bullbuster. So that's the logo. And the slogan, at first we were brand direct, but when I started, I started very young, so I got to fish like, I would skip school and in high school to go fishing, and so I could go fishing all the time. But as we grow up a little bit, like we have responsibilities in our life, and going into starting a business, it's you spend a lot of time in the warehouse, so you really got to appreciate like what the idea of spend more time fishing is. It's like making it a priority to get out there to either just spend time with your family, like where there's no cell phones, or to sometimes you just like blow off some steam and go fishing by yourself, or like pick a goal with like a bluefin tuna and like pursue that goal, and sometimes you need that, especially in this modern world where like I don't know, like you still got to go outside, so spend more time fishing. That's where it came from.
I think you hit the nail right on the head, more so than ever right now too. Carrie's asking, do you have a line winder that you like?
The best line winder out there is the triangle line winder. They have a few different series, so yeah, if you're someone that's going to have that in your garage or in your man cave, or in your woman cave. I know in California especially, there's a lot of like I see the anchorettes and so a lot of women fishermen out in California. Yeah, the triangle line winder is the best. And then you don't want to go in that price range. I think it's Chatham Tackle, and they have a line winder that you can put your electric drill into, and that's the really expensive component of the triangle line winder. So you go from like a 3,000, like somewhere between like a $2,000 or $3,000 line winder down to something like 800, 900 bucks. So those are the two I'd recommend: the Chatham spooler with the drill, or if you want to go all out and get the best one, the triangle line winder. So.
Excellent. Carrie also says, I used yellow on a new reel last weekend, and guess who didn't get tangled in a hot Dorado bite? Well done, Carrie. That's awesome. She also said, heck yes, we have some awesome lady anglers out there. Absolutely agree there. Well, so we kind of mentioned, or we touched on kite fishing just a little while ago. Kite fishing has become, obviously it's been around for a while, and more so than not, it's gotten popular with the big bluefin. It's in Southern California the last handful of years. When you're lining up, or when you're winding up a kite reel, an electric reel, or maybe just an old Senator, when you're flying a kite, regardless, what do you like to fly in terms of braid, and whether it's 65 or 80, or because I know certain brands and certain lines, one might have a little more difficulty flying than the other. So what do you recommend for Bullbuster?
I would say 65 and 80 is still on there. And I would say that from just watching some of our ambassadors here they're kite fishing for sailfish, but they have two kites out there in like 30 knot winds every single day. So it's been tested and like proven in those conditions. And then sometimes if you have like a lightning storm out there, Braid doesn't do that well. Like you have a lot of electricity in there. So in that case, I would go mono actually. So 50 and 80 mono on the kite. So those are two different styles.
Excellent. Well, awesome. Well, let's kind of switch gears here. I think we had touched on the Bullbuster magazine a little while ago. Tell us a little bit more about that and how that kind of works.
Okay. Yeah. So that we have right now, if you go to bullbuster.net/explore, you can kind of get a feel for it. Just some of the featured articles, and you can see our top writers. Like I think one of our top writers has like over 300,000 readers of his articles on Landshark, and I think there's like 400 writers right now on the website. And yeah, just really it's it's like, yeah, and you can kind of see these dots are, the red ones are where we have writers. So definitely if you're watching from Southern California, we're looking for writers. You can, if you click on there and zoom in, you can see kind of. So yeah, so the blue ones are more, are articles talking about destinations, and the green markers are just like location. Like I use writing as like a learning tool. It's like taking notes. So if you're new into fishing, you know, I do, before I went to San Diego, I did a lot of research, like, okay, like what is a long range bow? And I would kind of write down my research as I went. Like here, I also did a research, like on what lakes are in San Diego, and that's kind of the green stuff. But yeah, so you go on there and you can write an article and you get the points for the article, but you also, I don't know, I find it fun to write about fishing and learn a lot, and yeah.
That's awesome. So that is bullbuster.net/explorer. That's awesome. And like we mentioned before, anyone could go sign up as a writer and kind of contribute to this, right?
Yeah, and if you have a YouTube channel that you're kind of pairing up with, it's a great pair, because when you post videos into your articles, you get more views. It's just the way Google thinks. And when you have a YouTube channel and you put in a blog post, you end up getting more views to your YouTube videos. So it's a great pairing in between. It's like, you know, nowadays you might not want to read so much and you have the article there, but then the video there, but also like you can't replace writing. Like, you know, sometimes there's something about writing and reading that can't replace. So
yeah, and that's pretty unique, because not often you see a manufacturer or any company for that matter really kind of expend a resource and allow it to become an angling resource as well, whether that be how to videos or articles or even just fishing reports, right?
yeah. So you can keep, a lot of our anglers have come up with some of the craziest do-it-yourself projects that I've ever seen, like in the garage. I mean, especially now during the quarantine, or earlier in the year, people were just putting together some cool stuff, and yeah, share what you have there, and then there's a way for you to not just, like, you share on Facebook and you get likes, right? Well, you share here, you get some fishing line towards your, you actually get some value out of that, and if you want, there's also a section that's ambassador resources, and we show you how to get viewership online as far as what writing techniques work, how to format your article, and we'll actually go in and format it for you if you need, like, because we try to bring as much viewership as possible. But some of the best writers, the ones that you see like on the top of the leaderboard, we're not going in and editing their articles, because they've learned, and they've put in the time, and they're formatting their articles in a way that there's some articles on there with like 100,000 readers, and from people that are not professional writers, like they went in, they learned, and we try to provide all the resources for them.
And the best part about that is you're earning points towards rewards with each article, right?
Yeah. You can pay for your Spool line, and you write in an hour, you probably have $100 worth of line. That's your next trip. So yeah.
Absolutely. So Colby, before we let you go here, like I said, guys, if you have any last minute questions for Colby, make sure you drop them in the comments below. So Colby, what's next for Blowbuster? What's on your horizon? What are you envisioning right now?
Really, we're looking at making the distribution in all places to get there to your house faster. So I'm actually right now, I'm in Florida, and one of my goals here is, I've been out in California for a while, and we have the fast distribution over there, but I don't want to forget about where I started, and that's also here. So I want to make sure we improve. So we're opening up another warehouse here, so that we can be shipping a lot faster to the East Coast and a lot faster to the West Coast, so so that you can get your product a lot faster.
So you're pretty much growing your business right now just by having 2 distribution centers and on one on the West Coast, one on the East Coast, right?
That's what we're doing here.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Well, good for you. That's awesome. Like I said, guys, if you have any questions at all, please drop them in the comments below before we let Colby go. But that's awesome, man. I can't thank you enough for being here today, along with all of your generosity. I mean, guys, if you haven't been to one of our events, Bullbuster is all over the place. Colby and his team has been super, super generous in our banquets, in our events, in our tournaments, everywhere. So Colby, I can't thank you enough, man, for all your donations and what you've done for CCA California.
Thank you, and I want to thank everyone in Southern California for really welcoming me in, and especially CCA and the San Diego Anglers, because I don't know what I would have done without meeting some great fishermen out there, and so appreciate you guys as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I know you're in Florida, but when are you coming back to the West Coast, man?
Early November, actually. So yeah, I'll be there, I think, on November 6th. So.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, awesome, man. Well, let's check back in the comments real quickly before we let you go. Wayne says Sato line winder is a similar lower cost option using a drill, for sure. He also dropped a link, bullbuster.net//explore. Carrie says cool platform. Alex, thank you, man. He says join CCA. Wayne says thank you, Colby, for Bullbuster and your generous support of our fishing industry. Likewise, man. You do a lot for us, that's for sure. Williams chiming back in. Awesome, Colby. Happy for you. He also says keep up the good work. Todd says thanks. Carrie says thanks. Alex says thanks. But awesome, man. Well, real quickly, Colby, how do we get in touch with you? How do we get Bullbuster on all of our reels?
Just bullbuster.net, and really the best way to get in touch is with csbullbuster@gmail.com. So that's customer service bullbuster@gmail.com, and we usually get to those emails will be responded to usually within 24 hours, if not the same day. Sometimes in minutes. Actually, that's the goal is really to get it there faster. So it's better than a phone call because we'll have all your order information there, and we can provide the best service for you.
And I can personally vouch for that because I've sent Colby an email at that email address, and within minutes, he's already on the spot answering my question about Bullbuster. Well, Colby, thank you so much, man, for being here. We really appreciate your support, your generosity, and for being here this afternoon. It was awesome chatting with you.
All right. Thanks for having me. See you guys soon.
Absolutely. And one more time, any link that we can go to go grab Bullbuster?
Bullbuster.net.
Excellent. Excellent. Thanks, Colby. Really appreciate it, man. We'll talk again soon. And please, since you're in Florida, have a couple Cuban sandwiches for me.
I'll also have a coffee con leche. That's the best.
Yeah. And I'll send you the suitcase too.
All right. All right.
Awesome. Thanks, Colby. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week. Take care, guys.